Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you back to the International Engineering 2025. Just to remind everyone, this year's theme is Sustainability in Engineering Education. And now we are going to start our second technical session. It is my pleasure to introduce the session chair, Dr. Zakaria, who is currently an associate professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering at University of Teknologi, Malaysia, and is also the director of UTM's Center for Engineering Education. Dr. with his master's and PhD in chemical engineering from UTM. He has extensive experience in the industry, having worked both in the oil and gas sector and edible oil refining before joining academia in 2008. Research focuses on reaction engineering, especially catalytic reaction engineering, which deals with catalyst development, characterization, and testing of raw materials to higher value-added compounds. It is also under the Board of Engineers of Malaysia, Chartered Engineer, Certified Energy Manager, and active member of several professional bodies, including IEM, IChemE, and Malaysia Zeolite Association. He is part of the Chemical Reaction Engineering Group and the Resource Sustainability Research Alliance of University of Teknologi, Malaysia. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Zaki as the session chair for this technical session. Please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ananya, for the wonderful introduction. Okay, so thank you very much also for having me here. Thanks, Prof. Mazharul. I believe a few years ago, I was here as well, chairing the session. Yeah, that time we have Prof. Richard Felder. All right, so today I was trusted to be the chair session for the technical session number 2, and we have speakers on board. The first speaker is going to be Dr. James Ewen from Imperial College. Before we begin, I will read a little bit background about himself. Dr. James could not be here, but he has sent a video about his presentation. Okay, brief information about Dr. James. Dr. James Ewen is from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Imperial College, London, UK. Dr. James is also a Royal Academy of Engineering Research Fellow in the Tribology Group Department of Mechanical Engineering, Imperial College, London. He is a chartered engineer and a member of the Institution of Mechanical, and also he is an Associate Fellow of the Higher Education Academy. In 2022, he received the inaugural Wen Shizu Maple Leaf Award, International Young Scholar Award from the State Key Laboratory of Tribology at Universiti. In 2020, he was awarded a Royal Academy Engineering Research Fellowship for the project Controlling Friction Through Molecular Engineering. He was awarded the Innovation in Tribology Award by the Institute of Physics in 2019 and the Tribology Bronze Medal in 2018 by IMechE. In 2017, he received a doctoral prize fellowship from the Engineering and Physical Science Research Council, EPSRC. Same year, he was awarded the Margaret Finch-Hendon Centenary Memorial Prize for the best PhD thesis in the Department of Mechanical Engineering over the previous 5 years period. He completed his PhD in the Tribology College London under the supervision of Prof. Daniel Dini and Prof. Hugh Spikes in 2017. His ICASE PhD studentship was co-founded by Shell and EPSRC, and he spent 50 technology centers around the world during his undergraduate and postgraduate studies. He graduated from the University of Bath with a master's in chemical degree in 2014. So his presentation is titled "The Role of Tribology in Sustainability." So let's see what Dr. James is going to be delivering. All right.
Hi, my name's James Ewen. I'm a Royal Academy of Engineering, the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Imperial College London, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the role of tribology in a sustainable future. Tribology, if you've not heard of it, is the study of interacting relative motion. It includes topics such as friction, wear, and lubrication, and it's often kind of misunderstood and not always even heard of by the general public, as this quote from the New Scientist highlights. It's got very old origins. The first kind of tribologist that's recorded in ancient history is in ancient Egypt, about 1880 BC. You can see that while pulling these large on sleds, you can see the guy at the front there pouring water or oil. It's kind of debated, but pouring some sort of fluid in front of these sleds to help move them over the sand. Quantitative study of tribology was by Leonardo da Vinci. It was recorded in his notebooks. He came up with the kind of classical equation for the friction coefficient, which is the friction force. This is kind of usually attributed to Monton, who was the first in more recent history to publish this equation, but yeah, it's more recently been found to have been in Da Vinci's notebooks that he did. The word tribology itself is a kind of relatively new term. It was first kind of coined by Peter Jost in 1966 in the Jost report, which was basically a government that tried to quantify the costs of friction wear and poor lubrication to the UK economy. At that time, it was quantified to be between about 1.1 and 1.4% of UK, and this number has kind of been validated and is even relevant today in modern economy. So it's a massive cost to industry and to society in general. Tribology, a very important part of a sustainable future. If you look at the projected CO2 emissions from about 2010 to 2050, energy use and end use efficiency is a key part of achieving net zero or at least lower CO2 emissions. And this is the part where tribology really plays a key role in increasing the energy efficiency of energy use and also harmful emissions. A more recent kind of estimation of the costs of friction and wear was done by Holberg and Erdemir in 2017. Did the roles of friction and wear to primary energy use in lots of different industries, and basically estimated that between about 10 and 30% of primary energy is wasted due to friction and wear in these different industries, of which transportation is a major one, and one that kind of I'll focus on in this talk. In terms of tribology's relevance to the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, it's obviously relevant to achieving affordable and clean energy, also to SDG 9, which is about industry, innovation and infrastructure, also responsible energy consumption and production, and finally climate action. So it's relevant to at least 4 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Tribology is quite a complex subject. When you have surfaces in relative motion, there's lots and lots of physicochemical processes that go on between these sliding surfaces, and many of these occur right down to the kind of nanoscale or even atomic scale. In order to kind of understand macro scale performance in a tribological system, you've often got to model or understand processes occurring at very small scales. There's various techniques available to model kind of sliding surfaces across many different scales, right down from the kind of atomic level where you're looking at kind of atoms or even electrons, all the way up to continuum scale modeling where you're modeling, say, a gear or or an entire lubricated machine. So the kind of technique that I use in my everyday research is called molecular dynamics, and that sits some of those scales on the previous slide. It basically uses Newton's equations of motion to model the movement of atoms. You essentially go around a loop where you first determine the forces on the particles by the interaction potential energy between the atoms. You then calculate the acceleration vectors by integrating the Newton's equations of motion. You then calculate new forces and accelerations and use these forces and accelerations to determine new positions and velocities, and then cycle around this this loop to basically get the movement of the atoms in the system. You basically need to get the interaction of either atoms or molecules. This is kind of commonly done through a Lennard-Jones curve, which is shown here on the right, which basically just has a interaction potential well where the atoms are attractive, they don't interact, and at shorter distances they repel each other. For molecules, you need obviously a more complex force field, as it's called, to determine the interaction potential energy between the atoms and molecules. For classical force fields, this basically consists of bonded and non-bonded terms. You basically have bond lengths or bond angles that are usually determined just with simple harmonic terms. And then you have torsion of the angles as well, so the 1,4 interactions to determine the twisting of the molecules, and that's usually just a Fourier expansion of a harmonic potential as well. As I say, the Lennard-Jones curve is usually used to model these van der Waals interactions between either atoms in different molecules or atoms in the same molecule. And often when you've got charge systems, you also have to determine the charge-charge interactions in the system as well. Often atomistic simulations where you model every single atom are quite expensive, so simplify the system by combining atoms into either coarse-grained beads, as shown on the right-hand side, or sometimes just combine the hydrogens with the neighboring carbons, for example, which is called a united atom potential, where you have slightly fewer interaction sites. And this obviously saves quite a lot of computational expense, and by the time you go to a coarse-grained force field, you have far fewer interactions. It's computationally cheaper to run these simulations. I'm going to talk quickly about 2 case studies that involve quite a lot of collaboration with various industries, where we use these molecular simulations to study tribological processes. The first of these will be on developing high-performance lubricants with Apton Chemical, who are an additive company, and more recently Shell, who are a lubricants company, as well, a general energy company, but in this context, a lubricant company. The work done on the simulation front was done mostly by Carlos, Ayestar, and Latorre, who's shown there, and it's kind of been continued in the Infuse Prosperity Partnership, which is a large industry project between Imperial College, Shell, and Diamond Light Source, which is the UK's national synchrotron. And also in the second case study, I'll talk a little bit about improving the sustainability of shampoos and conditioners, and this work was done in collaboration with Procter & Gamble, was done mostly by Dr. Eric Wyand, who's shown there in the other picture. So firstly, on the lubricant development side of things, lubricants are multi-component, very complex fluids containing about 10% of a mixture of additives combined with one or more base oils. The additives are basically added to the base oil to improve various areas of performance. So the base oil basically and ensures that the surfaces are mostly well separated, whereas the additives are there to usually interact chemically with the surfaces to stop certain kind of deleterious processes that may occur between the surfaces, or in some cases clean up various deposits and things that are formed during combustion, and just generally keep the surfaces well lubricated and clean. So amongst those additives, the one in green, the anti-wear additive, is arguably the most important, and that's the one I'll talk about in a bit. Basically, traditional lubricant development is quite evolutionary because these formulations are quite complex. You typically take a existing formulation and then add in new lab-based exciting compounds, and basically see if they improve the area of performance that you're interested in, but also that they don't interact in a harmful way with any of the other additives or base oils in the system. Something that I'm doing during my fellowship is to, rather than taking just this kind of top-down engineering approach where you kind of just mix in new compounds into existing formulations, is to do a more rational design approach that integrates engineering and molecular science. So have formulations that are designed from the bottom up, from the molecular level, rather than the traditional top-down approaches. This obviously has a number of benefits in terms of reducing the number of experiments and things if you can do this using molecular simulations. So in terms of the anti-wear additives that are in these formulations, the most popular is one called zinc dialkyl dithyrophosphate. It's added to all crankcase lubricants for cars and for heavy-duty vehicles. It basically is added different types of lubricant. It forms protective tribofilms on the sliding surfaces. They're quite thin. They're between 80 and about 150 nanometers in thickness. They form these pad-like structures on the surfaces, and they basically grow from these ZDP molecules, which break down and then form the tribofilms. And basically, these surfaces are sacrificial. They wear down rather than the metal surfaces. So that's what reduces the wear in the system. In these simulations that I'm going to briefly talk about, these are non-equilibrium molecular dynamics simulations where basically these lubricant additives are simulated between the sliding surfaces. You can see there that a load is applied and the step slide. You basically track what happens to the lubricant additives as they're compressed and sheared, as they would be in a lubricated contact in an engine. And to be able to break down, we use something called a reactive force field, or ReactFF, which is like the force fields that I mentioned earlier, but has additional terms for bond breaking and bond formation to basically allow you to look at the breakdown of these compounds and the formation of tribofilms. If you look at what happens during these simulations, this is just showing basically the two different molecules for a normal butyl phosphate and secondary butyl phosphate. What happens when you compress the surfaces over time? You can see that these carbon-oxygen bonds break during the simulations, as do these phosphorus-oxygen bonds. Essentially, for the secondary butyl phosphate, it's more reactive, and these bonds break quicker. And you can also see that although some of there's an overall increase in phosphorus-oxygen bonds, which leads to the formation of a tribofilm. So you essentially get this CO cleavage, and then PO cleavage, and then PO bond formation, which leads to the formation of the protective tribofilm. And you can see all of this happening in these molecular simulations. If you track how these molecules break down under different temperatures and different pressures, you can start to see these curves where you track how many molecules given simulation time under lots of different conditions. You can see that on the right hand side for the secondary molecules, which are more reactive, you can see that they break down much quicker under all of the temperatures and loads that we simulate. If you then take all of these reaction rates, which are given by the fits from the last figure, you can basically come up with a change in reaction rate, so the breakdown of the molecules. You can essentially track how the molecules break down, the rate that occurs, And you can fit that with an empirical model known as the Bell model, which basically it's a modified Arrhenius equation that describes the effect of shear stress, which is the sigma here, and an activation volume, which is basically the magnitude of the change in the rate based on the stress. And you can basically take that away from the activation energy in the Arrhenius process to see how much the rate is accelerated by these pressures. You've also got the effect of temperature there, which is obviously a standard Arrhenius relationship. So essentially, as you increase the temperature, you get an exponential increase in the rate. So the reaction rate is exponentially dependent on both temperature and stress. You can see again the rates are much higher for the secondary, and they're more dependent on stress. You can then use these properties that you get from the molecular simulations to happen in real life. So this is an image of a rubbing contact that's lubricated by ZDP. You can see that in the circular area, which is where the contact's happening, you get a build-up of the tribofilm in the red area, but then overall under this condition you get wear of the metal surface as well. So you can see that the surface has been worn away in the low blue area. You can start to model how this happens based on these activation energies and activation volumes. You can use that as part of a kind of mixed lubrication model at the macro scale to predict what might happen for different additives under different conditions, and start to predict what the tribofilm thickness might be under different conditions, and also what the wear of the surfaces might look like under different conditions with different additives. And by the time you can do this predictively from the molecular level, you can obviously save yourself a lot of effort and cost with physical testing of new molecules. Shifting gears somewhat, the second case study that I'm going to mention is to do with tribology and hair care. Basically, hair care products have lots of roles. As you apply them to the hair. They can assist with brushing and combing, improve the feel of the hair, repair hair damage if you've got chemically damaged hair or something that's been damaged by the environment. Can increase shine or improve the look of the hair, reduce frizziness. And obviously, in modern times, sustainable formulations is obviously another big thing with hair formulation that we develop. And another kind of key role is reducing friction when you're brushing and combing or manipulating your hair with your hands. This is the part that I'll focus on here. Essentially, you can do lots of different types of friction tests with hair. This is just a macro scale tribometer test with a tress of hair with a silicone substrate rubbing on a kind of group of hair. Basically, you can see big differences to medium hair, which is just standard Caucasian hair. When you add shampoo, or a conditioning shampoo in this case, you can reduce the friction by about 50%, and then if you add a conditioner, you can reduce it even further. So a key role of the conditioner is to reduce hair friction, and that basically improves the feel of the hair. Consumers, even untrained panels, are able to detect the changes in friction due to shampoos and conditioners. They can basically feel easily that they're there or finer, and this is kind of a key role of the shampoo and conditioner formulations is to reduce friction and make it feel nicer. So to model the hair, we basically need to know quite a bit about the structure. So hair basically has cuticles, which are kind of microscale roughness features, overlapping scales. If you look into a single cuticle, it's basically got an outer layer which is covered by a fatty acid monolayer, the outer layer of the hair is either healthy, in which case it's covered by a 18 MEA monolayer. This by bleaching the hair, or by even natural weathering by the sun, or by other things. This layer can be removed and basically oxidized to form this cysteic acid group, and can negatively affect the friction of the hair. So basically, in the models that we develop with Procter & Gamble, we basically have a coarse-grained model of the healthy hair, which is using the Martini model, which is a coarse-grained force field. So as I say, to reduce the computational cost, you obviously group together atoms into larger beads, and this reduces the number of interaction sites and makes the simulations easier to run. There's lots of different bead types with lots of different types of major biomolecules. It's been applied previously to study things like skin lipid bilayers and even entire cells. So we basically extended that to bits of hair. So essentially, we have these 18 MEA fatty acid layers, which are represented with certain bead types. We then look at different areas of different levels of damage, where we basically remove a random fraction of these chains and then replace them with these negatively charged cysteic acid residues. And we go all the way to full damage, where we remove all of these, which is basically equivalent to ultimately bleached hair, where you've removed all of the protective fatty acid monolayer from the surface. In terms of the formulations and how we model the formulations, a kind of fairly recent phenomenon, certainly in the UK and I think in other countries too, is kind of sulfate and silicone-free shampoos, where you're replacing some of the kind of previous synthetic compounds that are very effective in terms of and lubrication of hair, but they're not sustainable and they're not naturally sourced. So consumers are increasingly interested in kind of more sustainable or natural compounds. So it's basically Procter & Gamble and other companies are very interested in more sustainable sulfate and silicone-free shampoo formulations. One of those compounds that's very popular is catonic guar gum. This is derived from the guar plant, which is grown a lot in India and I think Bangladesh as well. It's essentially a natural gum that can be easily functionalized to form a catonic polymer, which is very effective to sticking to the negative groups. For the cleansing part, it's typically anionic surfactants that are used to cleanse the hair. Here we're just looking at SDS, which is a well-known kind of model surfactant. It's not one of the sustainable ones, but it's still used in quite a few formulations. Essentially, we look at the absorption of these polymers onto the hair in a sequential approach. So we basically, the orange part, catonic polymers, and you can see that they absorb onto the negatively charged surfaces. We then absorb the SDS surfactant, which forms micelles. These micelles basically end up excess positive charge of the polymers, so you end up with basically polymer surfactant complexes absorbed onto the hair. We then apply a load, which is equivalent to kind of physiological loads when you press your hair or between hair. You can see that quite a few of the surfactant micelles are then squeezed out, but some of them stick and remain between the surfaces. We then use non-equilibrium molecular dynamic simulations to look at the friction of the hair. So we have, again, simulations where we rub one surface over the other. You can see that on virgin hair, the pure water is pretty effective at reducing friction on the hair. The friction is quite low. The polymer surfactant complex, the friction is reduced even further at low loads, at very high loads, which are probably above those that are relevant to hair contacts. Friction goes up a bit, but no matter how hard you press the surfaces, basically the friction is significantly reduced by this polymer surfactant complex compared to just lubricating the surface with water. And just to conclude, the academia industry partnerships that we've kind of developed here at Imperial are crucial to improve the performance and sustainability of formulated products, whether that be lubricants or even heck. I briefly showed how non-equilibrium molecular dynamic simulations can be useful to monitor the performance of lubricant additives inside lubricated contacts, and also showed how coarse-grained molecules are used to study biotribology of hair products, and how these can start to be used to screen sustainable alternatives to silicones and sulfates that are found in most current. Briefly, just like to kind of acknowledge the people who have done lots of this work. So Carlos Ashtar and Latorre on the lubricants work, and Eric's work, amongst many others. And thanks to our funders, who are a mixture of academic research councils and industry, and also HPC resources at Imperial, and also local and national resources as well. Sorry I can't be there live. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you again for the kind invitation to talk today, and I hope you found this useful.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. James. He's not here, but then he has mentioned that if you have any questions, you can email him. So I believe the organizer will provide the email, perhaps in the chat area, so that anybody can email to Dr. James if there are any questions. So let's move on to presentation number 6. It's from Professor Shamsuddin Ahmed. Okay, so let me just read a brief background about Professor Shamsuddin, and Prof Shamsuddin is here. Okay, Prof Shamsuddin Ahmed Muhammad Shahadat has been serving as an academic in different universities since 1986. Currently, he is a professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering in the Islamic University of Technology, IUT Dhaka, an organ of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. He obtained his Bachelor Mechanical Engineering from the reputed Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, BUET, in 1984, and secured first class and master's engineering degree from renowned Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, and PhD from University in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which is ranked within 100 best universities in the world. He has been quite involved in OBE, outcome-based education, and problem-based learning, kind of teaching methodologies and engineering degree accreditation process. To his credit, his research team published around 100 journal papers and 120 conference articles. He is the current chairman of the IUT. He holds a Chartered Engineer UK certification, IET UK membership, and Institution of Engineers Bangladesh IEB Life Fellowship since 2000. He was actively involved in IEB activity, the founding honorary secretary of IEB Malaysia and the Thailand chapters. So Professor Shamsuddin will be delivering his presentation titled A Sustainable Future, a Mandate for Education. So without further ado, let's welcome aboard Professor Shamsuddin. All the floor is yours, Prof. Shamsuddin.
Thank you, Dr. Zaki, Yamani, and Zakaria. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu Wassalamu ala Rasulullah. To all, Alaikum Rahmatullah. I am very happy and privileged to be here with you in this. I have been attending the symposium from the morning. I listen to speakers. Now it is my turn. So I am going to speak on. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay.
We can
so
hear you perfectly.
My slide is also.
Yes. Good, good, very good.
Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to talk about engineering a sustainable future, a mandate for education. I understand that as human civilization or humankind will continue on this earth, engineering will be there. Engineering will never miss, mankind or human society. So, and the question of sustainability that is coming, that is about the pragmatic solutions to engineering problems, right? So we are going to talk about this issue a little bit today, inshallah. So I normally start my lecture with some kind of natural pictures and nature. And if we love nature, definitely we see beauty everywhere. Now, some engineering humors are like they're being positive. I always feel like that, and failing is just a negative, right? So engineer sees a glass when others sees it half full or half empty, but engineer sees it as it's twice as big as it needs to be. So engineers are looking for the real life problems and solutions. Now, we all understand, we all know about 17 is disease. If we summarize them into 5 focus, so that is about planet, people, prosperity, peace, and partnership. So if we combine or see all these 5 P's, and then we see this is going to be sustainable development for humanity, for mankind. And so United Nations is saying that into be no thirst, no hunger, and many other things, right? Although performance until 2023 is not so good. So still we must talk about sustainability because this is very much an issue. So you would like to see that future will be in future there will be no hunger and no thirst and no environmental disaster or climate disaster or calamity. And we don't like to see this kind of situations in future. We also do not like to see that human-induced climate change like this. And economic effects of climate change to human and other beings, as we see some pictures here. So colossal damages are happening in this world almost every day this time. So it must be right. Then many people are becoming refugees in different parts of the world, right, because of climate change. And many animals are dying, many human, going under the water, and many things are happening in the world. So with this background, let us speak with about sustainable engineering at the contents of my presentation is so sustainable engineering at a glance, current state of engineering education, engineering stakeholders, innovative teaching methods, future directions in engineering education, measuring success, and conclusion. So the summary is that sustainability is about justice for all. I understand that way. Sustainability, justice for all, right? So when we are talking about sustainability, rather about integration of various aspects in a holistic manner. So as we say that engineering is going to play a dominant role all the time. And because engineers most of the resources, engineers are playing very dominant role in the world, and they are actually creating facilities or products, developing systems, and many other. So they have a key role to play towards sustainability, and that must, of course, engage in engineering education. So we would like to see that our graduates are having that mindset that they would be working in any field towards sustainability. So as we see the definition of engineering given by Ahmed, it is for the benefit of mankind, and it is we use the knowledge of science and mathematics, etc. And we are going to apply that with judgment, and that is also economically and for the welfare or benefit of mankind. So engineers are working for mankind, and that's why when we are talking about an engineer, so engineer is someone who seeks in his mind and who sets his mental power in action in order to discover and devise some means of difficult task he may have to perform. So engineers are giving or should be giving full attention towards, everything in a holistic manner. So we see engineering designing products, manufacturing or producing the products and providing various kind of facilities, utilities, and creating wealth or managing other resources, right? So that's why engineers are not designers, they are planners also. They are producers or builders. They are problem solvers and decision makers. And as I said, engineers are using most of the resources. So they are going to make towards something best. They're going to design something that is sustainable, develop some system that is going to benefit mankind, and use the resources in best manner, but they are working most of the time. So now we see that sustainability in engineering, the key principles is that we are going to integrate environmental, economic, and social issues or aspects, and that will create a resilient future or promote a resilient future. So now engineering, so it has, of course, essential significance then for minimizing environmental impact, conserving resources, and fostering a resilient ecosystem, ultimately a viable future for generations to come. And engineering is not for a particular region or country or area. It has global issues. And as challenges are coming globally, at the same time, these are also coming globally. So India must take that way. Now we see that everything is done for development. We see that we use this resource, that resource for development. But if we talk about sustainable development and equity, but not greed, it is possible with spiritual development. It is possible when our mindset is ready for sustainability. So then we about human needs. We are going to satisfy human needs, and we are going to do it with some sort of social equity. At the same time, we must think about the limits of environment, right? That's why when we are thinking about, sustainability in economic aspect, in social aspect, in political aspect, environmental aspect, etc., in our mind, the word sustainability should be there. So this is actually mainly mindset that the spiritual development is required for that. So now, essential constructs of an engineering mindset can be summarized as or structured products, whereas nothing is evident. Adaptness at designing under constraints and ability to understand pressures on engineering is much bigger professions, right? So they discern constraints, limitations, etc. Then they design. Imagine if each new version of, we can take an example, each new version of Macintosh operating system or of Windows, that is completely new operating system that began from scratch. So engineering is something like that, is starts from uncertainty, but bringable products that is of much use to human needs. So that's why the pressures on engineers or engineering is tremendous or endless. And engineers must understand their outcomes or products. So that's why judgment is very much important in engineering. As we are heading to we are now in industry 4 and 5, and we are heading to agile production system or agile system in future. So we are heading to industry 6. So there are different features or requirements actually to cope up with those kind of realities. That reality is coming, and that reality must come. We cannot stop it. So now with this, we may say that engineering is going to design efficient systems, promoting renewable energy resources, optimizing resources management, and creating sustainable infrastructure. So we need to have different kind of, subjects or courses in order to fulfill the requirements of those things. And fortunately, we have most of those subjects in our, curriculum. So we need to actually review the curriculum sort of sustainability or SDGs in our mind. And that is possible. That is, I think, not tough to actually accommodate. Because future play a decisive role. So in terms of resource management and conservation, and reducing energy consumption by designing more efficient systems, and developing energy resources. Renewable energy, of course, are abundantly available, but now the question of harnessing with technology, new technology, or with new, ways and means. So that is important. Even if we take the solar energy, in fact, 173,000 terawatt solar energy is available in a year, but only around percent of that is used now. So if we take other energy sources, of course, we have actually scope to go ahead and with the new technologies. So again, optimizing water usage is popular economy that we often say these days. So that's why we are talking about remanufacturing, recyclability, or durability, etc. So this kind of thing are now engineering keywords, right? So engineering for mitigating climate change, developing carbon capture technologies, that is ongoing, but we need to actually have more to capture more carbon from different kind of emission processes. And that can be also used for some good purposes. So, and designing resilient, so to face the extreme weather conditions that we often face now, earthquake, etc., and developing sustainable transportation systems that is generating highest amount of greenhouse gases. So we need electric vehicles or hydrogen vehicles or other kind of, new types of vehicles that will actually release minimum amount of greenhouse gases. So engineering for promoting sustainable infrastructure in terms of green building design, sustainable transportation networks, and waste management and recycling that we have indicated earlier. Other points are clean water and sanitation for all, improving access to healthcare with new technologies, new devices, so that people are getting better health services. And in health services now, the significance of technology, in other words, the engineering is very much visible. So much more visible than any time earlier. So also agriculture is the basic sector, and agriculture engineering has a great role to play to increase the productivity as well as to minimize the waste in agriculture sectors. Currently, huge amount of wind because of harnessing and other kind of systems that are too much traditional. So future of sustainable engineering, as we know that AI and IoT for sustainability, or Industry 4 smart manufacturing, or we call wise manufacturing. These are the issues that are coming, and we need to have more biodegradable materials. And the important thing is about all those things about interdisciplinary collaboration. So engineers, we need to work with other people. Even we need to change the mind of politicians. So engineers have a great role to play to actually change the mind of politicians towards sustainability, but by making understand the significance of different activities that are going to work actually in a very cyclic manner. If we take the education, the philosophy of true education is love for humanity and ecosystem. So that is there. And if we talk about higher education or highest level of education, this is knowledge, competencies, and skills. So that is one need to be do critical thinking and to develop that kind of mindset, and responsive and reflective or action is essential over there. The role of education in sustainable development, educating future engineers. So the background we have given thus far. So we need sustainable engineering that will integrate all these issues, environmental, economic, social considerations. So if we take actually these three things, we are actually including all other aspects indeed. If we talk about the material, if we talk about the system, process, etc., everything is going to be included over there. So in the process, we need to create graduates who will inculcate such competence and skills. So sustainable practices. So then they will be effective engineers in the day to come. And they will be engineers not only for one place, but they will be engineers for all. So we need to think globally for our future engineers that they are suitable everywhere. Integrating sustainability in curriculum. Now, the question that sustainability should be seen in the so in we need not probably add too many courses in terms of sustainability or in terms of environment, etc. But if we actually take some courses, like for example, we are offering some courses sustainability in technology, environment, and society. This is one 3-credit course now being offered for secondary students, so that we are giving them in their early time of engineering, that when you are going to design any product in your 3rd year or 4th year, you are going to take any design project or final year project, or you do any other kind of case study project, you should keep in your mind that sustainability is a big issue, where you must think about environmental benefits of conservation, economic aspects, societal issues, etc. We are offering another subject for final year students that is called project and environmental management. So that is project management. Of course, in every project, sustainability issue or this issue is important. So if we take some courses in their early of academic life, then we give some other courses that is based on project or case studies, etc. I hope that they are going to a mindset towards sustainability, and whenever they design any product, any system, they will think about those aspects, and that will probably integrate our actually the dreamed engineering or sustainable development issues. So that's why I say they will actually carry those message information for their whole life. So they inculcate lifelong learning and professional development, then that is possible. Now, the current state of engineering education, traditional engineering versus sustainable engineering. So, in many places, in Bangladesh, we have now about 116 private universities and around 61 nationalized universities. So, many private universities have a limited actually scope in terms of facilities, in terms of teachers, in terms of other kind of laboratory, etc. Facilities. So they are still quite traditional. So that traditional engineering will not work actually in the long run. And in those institutions, they need to change. But I understand that many universities in Bangladesh and elsewhere, and in Malaysia, because I was with the University of Malaya for 18 years, so they are very much advanced in terms of this kind of accommodation of sustainable issues or other kind of issues, AVIT or Washington-based accreditation issues. So where sustainability is an important parameter. So now emerging disciplinary engineering, current engineering education, increasingly incorporates sustainable practices. So this is coming up. This is coming up, and people are now taking it into consideration. We discussed this matter in our university now, and recently also we have had a meeting on this. How can we embed this sustainability phenomena in our courses across the courses and the curriculum? So for that, of course, towards that, when we are going to see it in real life situations, we need to engage actually students with some real life case studies. See that how sustainability can be incorporated into the real life situations, product or process or enterprises, etc. Then they come up with real flavor. And so there are some challenges, as I have indicated earlier, that curriculum gaps are there in many universities probably, and the faculty problem is there in several universities or some universities, particularly universities who do not have trained manpower or qualified manpower yet, and they are gradually developing. But of course, in Bangladesh, there are several private universities there. They are very good, and they are actually taking all those issues into their consideration. One is Asal University, North South University. These universities are working very, in line of needs. So if challenges are there, I think that can be overcome if we can actually put some sort of integration. Now we need to have some sort of innovative teaching based learning methods, right? So in interviews, sometimes we see that our students are very good in theoretical aspects, but when question comes about the practical knowledge, etc., so sometimes we see they are not so good. So that's why industry, academia partnership, internship, etc., now is in the process of incorporation into the. In Malaysia, of course, I know that we have sent the students to different industries, and they dedicated some weeks, 8 weeks or 10 weeks over there, and the large aspects how a factory is running from its beginning to end.
Prof.
So
Shamsuddin,
yeah,
Prof. Shamsuddin, can you, because time is running out, can
okay,
you
okay.
like maybe 1 to 2 minutes to conclude for that?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to finish. So we need to have that kind of innovative teaching methods that where we are going to include online learning platforms, augmented and virtual and tools, etc. And because paradigm is shifting now, and we need to actually think about level 4 or level 5 paradigm, a fully autonomous learner that can function well in limited domain, and a full autonomous learner with the right disposition and skills, where an educator has to be lifelong progressive and smart educator. So that paradigm shift is very much visible now to actually cope up with that kind of situation. I mean, all universities should come forward to have the same, similar, if not same, of course, breadth. So a mandate collaborating industry and academia, this issue we are talking very much now, real actually engagement is very much required through collaborative activities or research. Now, collaborative research is very important. I am not going to elaborate. I hope is very much aware about this kind of thing. So also I have indicated earlier involving policymakers and communities to our system. So awareness is very much important. Interdisciplinary aspects, of course, is very important, and internationalization, we have indicated earlier also, international collaboration is very important now across the countries. And we need to have some sustainability indicators from the point of environmental aspect, from the point of social aspect, and from the point of economic aspect, and that is comparable, benchmarking countries or institutions, etc. Then come up with our new, what is called new goals and new strategies. So I am going to finish in a minute. This presentation emphasizes the urgent need for a fundamental shift in engineering education by integrating sustainability principles, fostering a holistic mindset, and promoting active learning. We can equip us with the knowledge and skills to create a more sustainable and equitable future. So empowering future generation is going to be the new vision, creating a society, and final thoughts and call for engagement of the people from different disciplines. So future education should be all inclusive. So education should be brain, heart, and body instituted, learner-centered, lifelong learning process with values for the welfare of mankind. So everybody should engage our brain, our heart, and our body, so that we are coming up with such lifelong learning process serve the mankind. And lastly, that I have said in the beginning, sustainability in mind is like religiosity. So if that is there, then it will be wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for listening to me. So Dr. Iyer, Zaki, Yamani, even Zakaria, thank you once again for giving me this chance to speak in front of a very learned audience.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Sham. Indeed, a very informative speech from you. And you covered a lot, including the challenges as well as the current state of engineering education, as well as suggestion. But then, unfortunately, we don't have that much time because it has been exceeded. So if anybody have question, maybe you can drop a message, because now we are still having Prof. Shamsuddin inside this session. So you can reach to him for any question. So it's very unfortunate that we don't have much time. So now I'm going to bring on, yeah, welcome. I'm going to bring on presentation 7. This will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Taskin Jamal. Let me just give a brief information about Dr. Taskin Jamal. Okay, Dr. Taskin, a PhD in renewable energy from Murdoch University in Australia, and has also completed postdoctoral research at Keele University in the United Kingdom. He is a member of IEEE, IEEE, and an active member of the IET. Dr. Jamal's primary areas of research include electric vehicle integration, renewable energy system, battery management, and microgrid technologies. His work has contributed to a deeper understanding of sustainable energy solutions, particularly in the context of developing countries. Dr. Jamal frequently collaborates with policymakers and intervene on renewable energy and e-mobility projects. He has presented Bangladesh in formal forums, including major UN workshops and climate conferences, where he has presented research recommendations aimed at accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles and clean energy infrastructure. At AUST, he is known for his mentorship, student engagement, and dedication to bridging academic knowledge and practical application. He actively supports student-led initiatives, industry visits, and hands-on projects related to energy and transportation innovation. Dr. Taskin Jamal continues to play a significant in shaping the future of sustainable energy research and policy, contributing both nationally and internationally to the advancement of green technologies. I would like to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Taskin Jamal to deliver engineering education for SDG 7, advancing a just energy transition in Asia Pacific. Okay, the floor is yours, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zakaria. Can you hear me well? Okay,
Clear.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful introduction, and I'm really humble and thank you for the polite
pleasure.
introduction. May I share my slide, please?
Sure, definitely. Can you just take 20,
Yes,
25 minutes,
absolutely.
if possible?
Obviously. Sure.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Is it visible, the screen?
It's visible. Okay.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah.
It's full screen, right?
Yes, good.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. It's a great honor for me to join this symposium. And at the very beginning, I would like to thank the Center for Extension Services at Ahsanullah University of Science and Technology, the organizer, the distinguished session chairs and panel members for the opportunity to contribute to this conversation on sustainability in engineering education. Over the past decade, I have had the privilege of working across research and consultancy, focusing on renewable energy systems, electric mobility, and climate resilient infrastructure, particularly in the context of Asia and Pacific. The Asia Pacific region is half of the world's population and is very responsible for over 60% of the global greenhouse gas emissions from the fuel combustion. And as a country like Bangladesh, we are deeply embedded in this energy transition narrative with our own challenges and opportunities in clean energy access, urban sustainability, and policy innovation. Today, I will be sharing reflections on how engineering education a transformative role in advancing SDG 7, ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all, while also contributing to a just energy transition in one of the most diverse regions of the world. I will begin briefly by highlighting the current progress and challenges in SDG 7 implementation across Asia Pacific, and then explore how technology, data, policy, and inclusive education can be leveraged to drive equitable outcomes. I'll also try to share how our engineering curriculum can evolve to prepare future professionals to be problem solvers, but ethical, inclusive, and system-minded energy leaders. As we all know, Sustainable Development Goal 7 or SDG 7 aims to ensure access to sustainable and modern energy for all by 2030. Within that framework, there are basically three core targets. Number one is the universal access to electricity and clean cooking. Second, substantial increase in the share, and third, doubling the global rate of improvement in energy efficiency. In the context of Asia Pacific, actually, these goals take on added urgency because, as I said, this region accounts for over half of the global energy and is responsible for more than 60% of the global carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuel combustion. That's why the energy transition here in this region must be rapid, inclusive, and sustainable. And the key pillars we focus on include expanding electricity and clean cooking access, scaling up renewable energy deployment, improving energy efficiency across different sectors, advanced urbanization strategies, and strengthening energy sector planning and policy reforms. As I said, Asia and the Pacific stand in the epicenter of global energy dynamics. While economic expansion has lifted millions from poverty in this region, it has also locked in fossil fuel dependency. Coal alone contributes 42% of the energy supply in this region. Yet the signs of trans are emerging. In 2024, if we can see in the graph, the region's renewable generation capacity surged to nearly 2.6 terawatts, and the Asia Pacific attracted around $528 in clean energy investments, over half the global total. So this landscape actually tells us one thing very clearly. Asia and the Pacific is leading the global clean energy transition. Fortunately, in Bangladesh, we are a part of this transition. The scale, complexity, and urgency demand bold and coordinated action, and that's what the rest of this presentation will address. Regional energy picture to SDG 7. Asia Pacific has made commendable progress, but two truths define the region's SDG 7 journey. Access to electricity is nearly universal, yet reliability and quality still challenge millions. Clean cooking, energy efficiency, and renewable energy integration remain uneven across the countries and subregions in this massive region. SDG 7 in Asia Pacific is actually not off the track, but it is at a risk of divergence, I would say. The gap between the high-performing and lagging countries is widening. Without targeted, inclusive interventions, we risk inequality and missing the 2030 goal. Now I move to discuss about the access to electricity. Asia Pacific's electricity access rate has risen. This is an extraordinary achievement for all of us. But let's look deeper. 67 million people still live without electricity, mostly located in large developing countries in this region. Next is not just access, but the quality of access. For millions, electricity is still limited to a few hours a day or insufficient to power the basic appliances or support the livelihoods. This compromises household well-being, but also the delivery of essential services like schools, clinics, water pumping, and communications. To close the remaining gap, I recommend regulating for quality, reliability, and affordability, not just quantity of access. Second, scaling the decentralized renewable solutions like solar mini grids, solar home systems, especially in geographically hard to reach remote and rural areas. And finally, expanding inclusive financing mechanism that income and rural households that can afford and sustain access. Clean cooking is one of the most underinvested challenges in the energy transition and one of the most urgent. In the Pacific, access to clean cooking increased from just 38% in 2000 to 79% almost in 2023, a significant achievement. But nearly 1 billion people across the region still polluting fuels like wood, charcoal, and kerosene for cooking. Rural access remains particularly low, around 64% compared to over 92% in urban areas. Critically, household air pollution is causing millions of premature deaths every year. So this is not just an energy access issue. It's a public health crisis and a gender equality challenge. Women and girls who often bear the burden of cooking and fuel collection face proportionate health and safety risks. So what needs to happen now is to make mainstream electric cooking into national energy planning, to strengthen rural LPG distribution and remove logistical and other barriers, and finally incentivize cookstove market development, behavioral change campaigns, and public-private innovation hubs. Now talking about the most booming topic, that is renewable energy. Now here is in this area, one of the most visible indicators of climate ambition and energy transformation. The Asia-Pacific region has seen encouraging momentum. As of 2023, renewables make up to 16.3% energy consumption. Modern renewables such as solar, wind, and hydropower account for around 11.5% and continue to grow steadily. China alone added more than 370 gigawatt of renewable capacity in 4, maintaining its role as a global leader. Now the interesting thing, if we look at the graph, these two curves are different. We look at the total renewables, which includes the use of traditional biomass, heading trend because the use of traditional biomass is decreasing because of the promotion and awareness. With urbanization and development, people are using now oil, gas, and coal compared to the traditional biomass, which has caused this drop in total. But what we see in the green curve is the growth, almost a linear growth from 2010 to the present. And this is the positive sign. So hence, in this context, I recommend threefold responses. First, aligning the national renewable targets with nationally determined contributions, that is the NDCs, and long-term net zero plans for each of the countries. Second, fast-track the grid modernization and storage infrastructure. And finally, expand the blended finance facility private partnership. Now I continue to show more graphs. What we see here is the regional totals. It's critical to ask how equitably is renewable capacity across the countries and people. While the Asia-Pacific region leads in absolute renewable capacity additions, it lags significantly in per capita terms. On the left side, we see that Europe and North America enjoy more than double the renewable electricity capacity compared to Asia-Pacific region. Even Latin America, despite very smaller economy, has surpassed us on this metric. And on the right-hand side, we see that the Pacific Islands lead within this region is a great diversity. Their watts per capita is really impressive, but reflects a very small population, high reliance on imported fuels, and strong political will to pursue their 100% renewable targets. East and Asia, mainly driven by China, Japan, and the Republic of Korea, also perform really well. But elsewhere, the story is very different. The South Asia region is at the bottom of the graph. So these disparities matter actually. Signal gaps in policy implementation, finance access, and institutional capacity. Now talking about energy efficiency, if renewable energy is the engine of the low carbon transition, then efficiency is the gearbox, the mechanism that makes everything run smoother, cheaper, and faster. Despite its proven cost effectiveness, energy efficiency in this region is basically losing its momentum. Between 2000 and 2022, the region achieved an average energy intensity improvement of just 0.9% per year. This is well below the SDG 7.3 target of 4% annual improvement. To AC gains, I emphasize strengthening energy efficiency legislation and compliance, promoting the energy service company markets that deliver performance-based retrofitting, and expanding digital tools, smart meters, and urgence-driven demand-side management technologies. Industry in Asia and the Pacific is both the backbone of economic growth and a major source of emissions. It accounts for the regional energy we use and nearly 40% of the total carbon dioxide emissions. This makes it a priority area for decarbonization. but also one of the most difficult due to entrenched infrastructure, global dependencies, and cost structures. Countries are modernizing their industrial sectors by embracing energy efficient technologies, automation, and AI-based energy management systems. Decarbonizing is not a choice between economy and environment. It's a strategic necessity for long-term competitiveness. Low carbon products will dominate global markets. Clean manufacturing hubs will attract investment and jobs. Countries that act early will define the industrial standards of the future. Asia-Pacific industries are rapidly evolving, and clean technologies are no longer experiment. They are becoming essential for competitive, resilient manufacturing. From 2005 to 2022, ASEAN countries and China, Japan, Korea reduced their industrial energy intensity by over 1%. That's a really strong start, but we need to go further and faster. This is where cross-border innovation diffusion becomes really vital. We are seeing encouraging developments in this diffusion actually. Bilateral and trilateral pilots such as Japan, Thailand, Vietnam clean industry partnerships are testing their digitalization and carbon capture integration strategies. India and Bhutan cooperation, green hydropower trade, and at the institutional level, platforms like the ASEAN Center for Energy, APERC, SARC Energy Center in the South Asia, and ESCAPE IRENA partnerships are enabling knowledge training and joint road mapping. These collaborations actually accelerate access to frontier technologies, pool the financial and intellectual capital, and also create a level playing field so that all Asia-Pacific countries in Bangladesh can participate in the green industrial revolution. Hence, from my side, the recommendations are harmonizing the industrial decarbonization standards, investing in shared industrial renewable hubs, finally scaling up joint innovation hubs so that technology development is regionally embedded, not imported. Technical innovation is critical, but alone it's not enough. Without strong governance and inclusive planning, even the most advanced solutions will not deliver the structural change we need. Hence, let's focus on two key pillars: strategic energy planning, ensuring a just energy transition. We cannot forget the shift away from the fossil fuels disrupts the industries, jobs, and livelihoods, especially in coal-heavy regions. The emergence of renewables, battery production, and green logistics requires new skills, new training, and social protection mechanisms. Across Asia-Pacific, including Bangladesh, we need to institutionalize just transition principles in energy and climate frameworks, invest in workforce reskilling, especially for youth, women, and displaced workers, and finally create dialogue mechanisms to build trust and accountability. Three systematic enablers of governance ecosystem that remain major constraints in Asia and the Pacific are data, finance, and regulatory frameworks. Reliable, timely, and disaggregated energy data for planning, implementation, and accountability. But in many countries, real-time energy data is missing, especially at the end-use level. To meet the SDG 7 and net zero targets, clean energy investment must be tripled by 2030. The capital is there, but the problem is access remains very uneven and inefficient. And finally, regulation. Many energy laws in the region were written decades ago for vertically integrated fossil fuel-based utility. As a result, they often hinder the integration of disrupted energy resources, smart grids, and electric mobility. As we navigate the global energy transition, it's very vital to remember that not all transition currently just. A just energy transition means more than replacing fossil fuels with renewables. It means ensuring the access, the opportunity, and benefits are equitably distributed. Engineers of tomorrow must be trained to technology. They must ask who benefits from the system I am designing and who might be left behind. Our students need to understand that energy is not just about watts, amperes, and voltage, but for social transformation, where rural communities gain access, where women no longer cook over smoky cook stoves, where displaced coal workers find new dignified employment. This requires us to integrate concepts like resilience, community participation, and decent work into our teaching so that future engineers can design not only efficient systems, but inclusive futures. If we want to build an energy transition, a just energy transition, we must start in our classrooms. Engineering education needs to evolve beyond the textbook, beyond the laboratories, to include real-world ethical grounding and cross-disciplinary collaboration. Our curriculum must now embrace themes like rural electrification, clean cooking access, solar mini-grids, hybrid mini-grids, battery systems, and smart, and explore how they affect communities on the ground. We should incorporate policy case studies from countries like India, Indonesia, Republic of Korea, Thailand, or Bangladesh, so students understand how energy systems interact with governance, finance, and behavior. And we must train our students in the digital tools of the energy transition, like the geographic information systems, we call it GIS, and artificial intelligence-based modeling to participatory commitment methods. This is not just about technical competence, it's about building a generation of engineers who are socially aware, systems literate, and also future ready. Future of Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and all other Asia-Pacific countries will be shaped by our students, and it's up to us to prepare them for that responsibility. These are not of power systems or smart grids. They must be leaders of transition in one of the most climate vulnerable and energy unequal regions in the world. They must learn to design for impact, developing solar microgrids for island or clean cooking programs that respect cultural practices in individual cases. They must be comfortable working across disciplines, engaging with finance ministries, regulators, and social workers as much as with co-circuit boards. And they must carry with them a mindset of inclusion and justice, recognizing that energy is not just infrastructure, it's a human right. So let us not only teach them equations, but prepare them to build equitable, resilient, and sustainable energy system for generations to come. To conclude, I must say that engineering is not just about solving problems, about solving the right problem for the right people in the right way. The just energy transition begins not in the power plant, but in the classroom. So let's power our people and protect our living place, the planet. Thank you for your attention, your commitment, and your continued leadership.
Thank you very much, Dr. Taskin Jamal, for your very informative presentation, as well as we have 2 more minutes. Just if there's any question, maybe we can take it for one. Okay, where is it? Dr. Sheikh Masum Ahmed. Okay,
Thank
Dr.
you
Sheikh, yes.
very much, Dr. Taskin Jamal, for a very good presentation. I'm just wondering that you are teaching energy transition, and you mentioned just a word, just energy transition. So actually we have to emphasize. I'd like to ask you, in Bangladesh, we have a very small grid, you know, that we are a very small piece of land. And within this grid system, is renewable energy is how much sustainable and for this country. Do you have any research or any work on that? If you put some light on that, it will be benefited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Masum.
Thank you, Dr. Chowdhury. That was a wonderful answer your question within a very short time. the first thing is in our, yes, we have a very small country. The grid infrastructure is still not ready to encourage huge amount of renewable energy integration. So far, 3.5 to 4% in terms of total installed capacity, the amount of renewables has been installed. But the scenario is we don't have actually any calculation of the hosting capacity for the whole country. Like whether % or 40% is feasible for the current infrastructure or the grid situation what we have now. So the utilities in Dhaka city, mainly DESCO, DPDC, they are the bigger ones. And in other countries, the generation companies are also distribution utilities. I haven't heard any significant challenges in the feeders regarding voltage fluctuation, voltage issue, frequency issue, harmonics arising from the renewables. So the main problem in our country is some investment issues, the scarcity of land, and awareness of the people. Like even in Dhaka city, we can easily install rooftop solar panels in our high-story buildings. But how many educated people actually, considering these things, we currently do not have any technical issues. But yes, some electrical and techno-economic, actually, I should say, study should continue. What is the maximum hosting capacity of the whole grid? This kind of study is still not there. The roadmap is there. The policy guideline is there. They are showing that by 2030 and 2040, we should go up to 30%, 40%. The grid will evolve accordingly as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Syed Masam and also Dr. Taskin Jamal. And that marks the end of not session, I mean your part. So now we'll move on to the next and final speaker for technical session number 2. I will give a brief introduction on Prof. Lal Mohan Baral. Lal Mohan Baral is here.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
Prof. Okay, Prof. Dr. Lal Mohan Baral is an experienced qualified educationist with over 16 years of experience in teaching required to ensure a high of education for pupils. He is a committed and dedicated professor working in the Department of Textile Engineering at AUST with a proven ability to teach, motivate, and direct students by encouraging with a positive attitude to moments. Dr. Baral received Best Professor Award 2019 in Textile Engineering Studies of Bangladesh. Congratulations, Prof. And Dr. Lal Mohan Baral, current research interests extend beyond quality management, problem-based learning process to include the sustainability of textiles. His recent work has focused on gathering real-life data from the practical field, complemented by feedback collected from both local and international experts. This was organizing workshops and symposiums under the DAAD-funded project. Oh, this is a very massive project. Okay, based on this comprehensive input, he has contributed to the development of an up-to-date reference document on textile sustainability. President Dr. Baral and his team are engaged in preparing a practical manual aimed at facilitating the implementation of sustainability measures and achieving tangible outcomes in the textile sector. So without further ado, Prof. Lal Baral, okay, to deliver your talk titled Introducing Sustainability in Textile Engineering Curriculum Through an International Academia Industry Collaboration. Okay, the floor is yours, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Zaki, Yamani bin Zakaria, thank you for your nice words. May I share my presentation?
Also, I would like to remind if you can complete your presentation in 20-25 minutes, yeah?
Okay, thank you. I'll try my best. Is it visible, my presentation?
It's visible, yeah. You need to put it in, all right, that.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. My presentation actually regarding the sustainability introducing in textile engineering curriculum through an international academia industry. In my presentation, actually, I will go through a little bit about the sustainability and SDG goals and the sustainability issues to be identified in textile engineering education, and also textile engineering program at AUST, and how we develop the courses on sustainability and introduce a new advanced stream on sustainability. So sustainability, it's this basic thing. We know all sustainability has three main domains, and they have also the subdomains. So if you want to achieve the sustainability, then you have to actually, incorporate all those diagrams. We all know the 17 goals of sustainability. So it is a vast thing, and we have to achieve these goals in different area, in education, in production, in other areas in education. In Bangladesh now, according to the Sustainable Report in 2023 and also in 2024,
Maybe his line, yeah? Prof. Baral's line.
We can't hear you.
Okay, now we can hear you. I think maybe your line is not
Prof. Baral, we can't hear you. I think internet issues.
yeah.
I think he has internet issues.
Is he in the university?
No.
Oh. There you are. Prof. Baral, we are missing you. You are muted.
Please unmute yourself. Yeah.
okay. Is it okay?
Now.
Yes.
Yes. Now
Okay,
okay.
and as I am regarding the
Could you please
sustainability.
share your slides? Please share your slides once again, please.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
You got disconnected.
One minute, please.
Take your time, Prof. It's okay.
I
Okay,
hope
we can see
my slide is now visible, right?
Yes, visible.
Okay. You actually, I was talking about regarding the latest status of Bangladeshi SDG, achieving the SDG goals. So what about textiles? Actually, textile is pollutant supply chain in the production area. So in textile manufacturing, this pollution started from the material phase, raw material phase, production of raw material, then it goes to the production phase. During production, there are a lot of areas where the pollution is, then it goes to the transportation phase, disposal phase, and also use phase. In every areas or phases of supply chain, there are some pollutions which is applicable for the sustainability. Now, I will give some examples regarding this phase-wise pollution. You see, for material, raw material production, we we use pesticides, and these pesticides actually is very much harmful, and it is the one of the issues for the sustainability. Then think about the production phase. During production in textile area, especially in wet processing area, dyeing and finishing area, we have to use a lot of dyes and chemicals, and for use of dyes and chemicals, water, wastewater is pollutant wastewater, and if you release it in the landfill or in river, then it will be polluted all over the river. And if you think about the transportation phase, when you deliver this material to other area, then there are also some air pollution, carbon emission. And think about use phase during using detergent, softener, which is also very harmful for mankind, and also the disposal of pollution after using material. Actually, dispose it as a landfill or any other area, then it will be also polluted environment. So you can see the overall the supply chain in different types of pollution is happening, and there are some hazardous impact in different areas from these different types of pollution. Maybe this is the biological hazard in the life below water, and also affecting the aesthetic quality of aquatic life, drinking water, irrigation, and also there are some occupational hazard during this type of hazardous material. Have some, occupational hazard through allergies, headaches, runny and stuffy nose, and so on. Even there are some chronic health hazards, this pollution. Anyway, why that is happening? There are also some concealed hazards in dyeing and chemicals. There are lots of hazardous items which has been used product development or production area in dyeing and finishing area of textiles. So in general, you think about these textile industries, we are giving the input, the water, dyes and chemicals, textile fibers, and it is processed inside the industry. In the output, we will get solid waste, and also there are a lot of energy consumption is happening. And the byproduct, you can have the carbon dioxide emission, greenhouse gas emission, and there are also noise pollution. This totality, actually, if we think about this sustainability, is all about against of sustainable, environment and climate. How to get rid of? We have to think about textile supply chain, not in the previous traditional way, which was actually quality, quantity is the first, quantity, then it's profit. But now we have to focus on environmental issues, social issues, and then profitability. So we have traditional to sustainable textile. Well, how can we transform? Actually, we have basic education regarding the sustainability, as it is very important in the sector. So we have to have for our students and career development, and it goes to the production area, and the students can develop career in the sustainability area and implement it in the production area. Well, to said aim of this actually to achieve this goal, we have develop a project with university and industry collaboration. That was in an international collaborative partners project. From Bangladesh, our university, from Germany, Engelbert Strauss is a very renowned industry, and also UNU Flores, one of the renowned university, actually situated in Germany, and from German cooperation. So collaborative projects, actually, name was the Chair for Sustainability and Textile Innovation. Our main goal was to establish sustainability and textile innovation at the Department of Textile Engineering of AUST. So implementing this, actually, what was our basic goal in BSc in Textile Engineering program? We started to develop our curriculum incorporating sustainability. So in the first, as you know, our textile engineering program is 4 years program. It's total 8 semester long, and it has 169.5 credit hours. Previously, in our program, we have 4 advanced streams: yarn manufacturing, fabric manufacturing, weight processing, and apparel manufacturing. As sustainability is very much important in our industry, and also our area of textiles, so we started to develop our curriculum to introduce another new streams. It is called sustainability and textile innovation. Actually, before that, to go for the sustainability, and we had a gap analysis through his project, which was funded by DAAD in 2019 upward, and we had a survey process kind of topics, sustainability topics already covered in our existing syllabus. From where we have seen that we have a big act, in our existing, so we need to incorporate our sustainability issues in our curriculum. So within that process scope, project scope, we modified STING courses incorporating some sustainability inside it. And also we developed another new course that is called sustainability, where we incorporated different topics, relevant topics in the syllabus. So as I mentioned, so our new stream is called Sustainability and Textile Innovation, where we already focused economy, environment, and society for textiles. It was focused on sustainability specialization, and also there are also some marketing demand, in BGMEA members, we estimate 4,000 now listed members. Every member need sustainability responsible person, that is, and also we have to achieve goals, which is very much important. That's why we introduced this advanced stream. Well, what was our syllabus development process? First, we brainstormed workshop with internal brainstorming and also with experts from outside. I mean the different universities from around the world. Then we track the syllabus. Then we gathered feedback from the experts, and also we prepared, finalize the syllabus. Then we have to submit it to the department and academic council of AUST. Approving them, then we had to submit to the UGC for their approval. So that was the process, and we developed courses for this advanced stream. First was the sustainability in textiles, that is introductory course, and also the laboratory practical course for sustainability and textile management in textile industries. As a resource, water management in textile industry lab, resources and their nexus in textile industries, another course where we incorporated resourceness, technology, and also the human resource in textile based, and also resource and their nexus in textile industry lab. We have two special courses. One is application of computer textile industry. That means the sustainability assessment, but also a special sustainable transition tools in textile industries. Different types of tools, how can we sustainability measure in different area? Well, I will give a brief idea. Only one course, sustainability in textiles, and then we will go faster for other courses. Sustainability in textiles. In sustainability textiles, we included those topics. First is basic sustainability, where the sustainability SDG, Act, Detox, and HIG index, Sweden textile water initiatives. Those basic things of sustainability has been included. Then there is another compliance and CSR, where compliance, human resource management, and compliance were incorporated. Then another part is sustainable accounting and cost control. It's very much important to the profit and also economic sustainability. And this one, compliance and CSR, is the social sustainability part. Then we introduce ecology as hazardous components, waste chemicals, and how can we assess the life cycle or the product life cycle, environmental life cycle impact, ecological footprint, that means water greenhouse gas emissions and their effects. And finally, there are some sustainable basic products in different areas, that is sustainable fibers, fashion, and design, circular fashion, basic area. This course is actually for every student and regarding the basic thing of sustainability. The learning objectives of this course was to explain sustainability and its importance, to apply different tools to make the different sectors sustainable, to select appropriate sustainability measuring tools, and sustainable textile products. Next, sustainability in textile labs. For this course, actually, our main learning objective was to measure risk and hazard, to promote chemical safety, to run different tools for applying measures of sustainability, to generate solutions to reduce impact, especially environmental, economical, and social, for sustainable textile. Next course is water management in textile industry. The outcomes of this course is to explain the relationship among water management in the integrity and United Nations SDG goals, water footprint, apply the resource nexus in water initiatives frameworks in the textile industry context, and also to identify the afterlife of textile waste water. Then actually, in this course, we have followed all those textiles value chain, from introduction to water integrity. That means we in fresh water and we disperse the wastewater in total, flow. We have to have some measures that we already incorporated with our syllabus. This course also has some labs and some learning objectives to improve efficiency of water uses, analyze the quality of wastewater, to perform the wastewater treatment for different special sustainable transition tools in textile industries. Actually, for learning objectives of this course, to describe different tools, economic tools, environmental tools, social tools for sustainable organization, to compare between the most sustainable textile business model and regular textile model for sustainability transition, to apply the tools of sustainability transition on creating sustainable structure, that is and SOP and different organization. Well, for this course also we followed the introduction, tools and techniques, measuring, calculations, and all those things we incorporated with this. Resource and their nexus in textile industries. Objective is to describe resource nexus approach in the textile industry to execute sustainable production process, to select tools, methods, and equipment to minimize the impact on environment and society throughout the textile value chain. Also, we followed all those raw material to final product in different stages. We incorporated the sustainability related topics. Resource and their nexus labs we incorporated to design production process, to measure resource uses for reducing resource consumption and the amount of waste, to perform recycling process. Then application of computer for sustainability and textile industry assessment, different types of software uses for sustainability measurement, to explain the reason for sustainability assessment and outline its importance, to apply appropriate tools, methods, computer-aided tools for different types of sustainability and product and services. Justify the decision between different tools chosen or available textile product or processes and their impact. Also, we used introduction, life cycle, and costing assessment, life cycle assessment, and material flow cost assessment. With different computer programming. Yes, all those things were incorporated. So with all those package of actually we achieved these DG goals from 5 to 13. In the next slide, we can have a look, say how can we achieve. For that, actually, this is a 3-credit hour course. We achieved or we focused DG goals 12, 13, 8, and 5. Sustainability and textile lab, so focus DG 12, 13, and 5. Water management and textile industry, our focus was, SDG 6 and 14. 6 and 14, special sustainable transition tools in textile industry, which actually, covered SDG 7, 8, 9, and 12. Resource and their nexus, it covers SDG 3, 7, 12, and 13. And its lab also 3, 7, 12, and 13. And the application of computer and sustainability textile industry, it is also 12 and 13. Domains of sustainability, that means social, economical, and environmental, all domains are actually focused to this package of course. It was our total new stream, and we already submitted to UGC, and we already get approval this all those courses, and we will start from the next semester this advanced stream. Before that, during our development of this all those courses, we offered it for our existing student in a virtual mode. I mean the Moodle platform, and they are we are conducting these courses, and we have good feedback from the students, and we are after completing their course, we are providing them certificates for the course completion certificate. Now we are waiting for implementing a real life classroom teaching for sustainability in textile innovation. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience hearing.
Thank you. It was indeed a very amazing and informative sharing about the new sustainable textile engineering curriculum. So me myself, I think it's my first time hearing this. So I think it's a good for SDG wise. I'm not sure. Ananya, should we have any? Can we open for one question at least?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. So if maybe we can have one question. Participants in the symposium. Anybody want to ask question?
Assalamualaikum. This is Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Shamsuddin.
Yes. Walaikum salam, sir.
Wondering with your huge work to have a single. It's going to be a department, is it? Department?
No, actually,
It's a
our
program.
department name is department hearing.
But is it a program giving a degree on this?
Is a program, yeah.
Yeah, I have seen few programs in the North American universities. I didn't go inside. I'm wondering, do you have textbooks for this running these courses?
Well, actually, within this project, we have also some experts from different countries. Actually, the UNU Flores, Technical University of Dresden, Germany, they help us for the expertise purpose, and also during preparation of our syllabus, we ask them to give the proper reference books and so on, and they are trying. And yes, for all those things, not enough books, but we can find. We also developed our course material with the help of different experts in this area, and also it was also reviewed by the part, and we already recorded our course, every course, and it also we delivered through this material.
Okay.
Really, it's amazing. I'm really happy to know you have done a great job, and the others can follow. Thank you very much.
For your nice.
I think Muhammad Tajul Islam is raising his hand. Maybe yeah, if you want to ask question. Dr. Tajul Islam?
We cannot hear you.
Hear you.
Dr. Tajul?
Or was that an accident raising hand?
Maybe,
okay, maybe.
Are you muted, or we cannot hear you?
We cannot hear you.
maybe there are some,
maybe some technical issues. Okay, so it's okay. Hopefully the organizer can provide email address. Okay, I'm talking. Yeah, but we cannot hear you.
cannot hear you.
You
You want to write down the question? So Prof. Baral can answer. It's not easy to get Prof. Baral here.
Actually, Dr. Azul is also working with our team. We have developed our team to teach this area, this stream. We have faculty members within this team, and they are also trained through this project.
Dr. Baral, I want to say something.
Yes.
Chairman, I'm Professor Motin from Civil Engineering.
Okay, sir, please.
Can I discuss something?
Yes, please.
Today morning, I talked with Professor Baral during our visit to another places together. So now I am just watching his presentation. It's lots of things they are covering. They are in course in textile engineering. I am very how they can introduce all these courses in a textile engineering curriculum. And it will be more than, I think, around 160 credit hours. So it is for a textile engineering. I don't know. I wonder how you can cover all these things, because water management in textile engineering is a big issue. So solve this problem, whenever you are operating textile mills and the people. So this particular course is very, very important for you, and it is very wide. How you'll manage water management issue, because chemicals, water dyeing and chemical processing are going to the river, as I discussed with you. But I am not sure how you will cover engineering curriculum. I don't know.
Well, sir, actually in textile engineering, value chain, I mean the process flow, there are a lot of, wastewater is produced, and especially in the wet processing process. And to reduce this, pollution of wastewater, there are some new technology incorporated in the process. That's why the, this pollution can be less reduced. And later on, we have effluent treatment plan in every wet unit. And through this effluent treatment, it should be treated. And according to the, requirement of Department of Environment, release it. And this process actually we have to address, but we have addressed within the 3 credit hours. This is the theoretical 3 credit hours course, and also we have the laboratory courses. That means how can we measure the the characteristics of wastewater. I mean the BOD, COD, and TDS. What is hazardous?
Another point I want to discuss, Mr. Chairman, if you give me permission, you are talking about some tools, and this will measure the environmental, society, and other issues. So I don't know, what are the tools? Can you explain one of them? The society.
Yes, sir. For example, if you analyze the life cycle of a product, that is assessment tools. Or you can the material flow cycle, that is another tool.
Yeah.
So this type of tools, lot of tools, there are incorporated process area, also in the social aspect and also environmental aspect.
these tools are mathematical models or something like that, or any analytical tools?
Yes, that is also, and also some are analytical, and we have another aspect. Say for final year students, they have to do their design project from the real life problem and solve it through their different tools that
Yeah,
can be
very, very
that
good.
can be reduction of waste and
Just like
other.
problem-based learning, yeah?
Yes.
Listening. I'm sorry, really sorry to interrupt, but then I think the times is up. We need to respect the time because we have past 10 minutes from 4:30. I would like to appreciation to Prof. Baral for a wonderful information session just now, and also those who have asked questions. And on my behalf, I would like to apologize for any misconduct or miscommunication. And I would like to pass the session back to Ananya or the secretariat. So for the closing for this technical session number 2. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Zakaria.
Thank you, Prof. Zaki. Thank you, Dr. Zaki, for expertly conducting the session, and also to the speakers for their wonderful presentations. Now, before we end, I'd like to request you to turn on your video so we can take a screenshot. Thank you, everyone. With that, we come to the end of the technical session 2, and with it, the close of today's program. I'd like to sincerely thank all the speakers, session chairs, and the participants for their invaluable contribution that made today so productive and engaging. We look forward to welcome you back tomorrow at 10 a.m. when the panel discussions will be held, which promise to be just as insightful. Until then, have a wonderful goodbye for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day, everybody.
Have a nice weekend.